Welcome, everybody, to this week's Geek-Span. I'm your host, Wes, along with Skip and Tosh. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, man, just ready to talk some news, man. This is exciting. And we got a third person now to help us out, so I'm kind of more excited about who's joining us now.
Yeah, we got the comic whiz in the house. We're going to be talking comic book news, rumors, geek culture news and rumors. We're going to be running it all down here live with Skip and Tosh, myself, and our third member of the team, Comic Whiz. Comic Whiz, are you ready for the first question?
Yes, I am. All right. So, in our first time, we're talking about the movie Joker. Warner Bros.' Joker film broke multiple records this weekend, including the largest ever October domestic opening weekend, raking in just over $93 million. It pulled another $140 million from 73 overseas markets. Wes, what do you make of the enormous success of the Joker?
Well, there was a lot of controversy, a lot of buzz around the movie, and I think the Streisand effect kicked in. People were curious about the movie. Maybe ones that were on the fence were like, there's a lot of buzz, and people are telling me I can't go see this. Maybe there's something really cool that people are trying to get me to miss out on. I think it generated a bigger audience, and generally speaking, the reviews are very good. So I think that always helps. There's good word of mouth. But the controversy definitely helped this. What did Eric Bischoff say? Controversy creates cash. What do you think about that, Skip?
I think Eric Bischoff was a man who was ahead of his time, and that's why Vince McMahon had to sign him up. But this ain't a wrestling show. No, I agree with you, Wes. I mean, the controversy alone just kind of got everybody's attention on it. Regardless of which side of the controversy you were on, you were talking about it. For the people that weren't on either side and kind of just looking to find out more about it, I think it was just too appealing and too intriguing for them not to go and see it. Of course, there was a safety element that was a little more heightened than I think was necessary. But at the same time, it's good to be vigilant. Everything went off, so to speak, without a hitch. And overall, it was even just a slate of movies that were out at the time. If you looked at the movies that were out in the box office, there kind of wasn't anything, in my personal opinion, that was more appealing than the Joker. And mind you, as I've said multiple times, I have no desire to see the movie. So just objectively, it seemed like the hottest ticket if you were looking for a ticket this weekend.
What's interesting, everyone's kind of waiting for the big comic movie boom to die down. Well, what record did it break? Venom from 2018, another comic book movie. So, it looks like maybe comic book movies are here to stay. Even villain-focused comic book movies maybe will be the next flavor of the day. But congratulations to Warner Brothers. They've actually had a terrible year for their films division, and this been a huge hit. And it boomed overseas too, so it wasn't like isolated to America. It hit everywhere. It hit North America, South America, Asia, Europe. Everyone was interested in the movie, and it's a huge hit for Warner Brothers. A huge hit for the DCEU, which is gradually getting more steady as far as box office. Aquaman hit big. Shazam did pretty good. Now you got the Joker origin film hitting huge. It probably won't go up to $1 billion like Aquaman because it's rated R, but it's definitely a big win for them.
Yeah,
and the Streisand effect.
Yeah, right. And let's not forget also, before all those, that what kind of kickstarted all that was Wonder Woman as well. That did really good and was pretty well received. So you know what? And for me, and as much of a mess as I think the DCEU or whatever they're calling it these days is, they have strung together a little flurry of movies, a little string of movies that have done well for them. So if continuity be damned, at least we can say success is there, and success for one comic book movie that maybe I don't want to see means that another one that maybe I do want to see gets greenlit, like a Hawkman movie or something. So props to WB.
Or maybe even Blackest Night. Maybe. Let's get a little bit of Green Lantern. That mess is far behind us. All right, next topics, Comic Whiz.
Well, speaking of Joker, now that we're all talking about it, a report from the Hollywood Reporter indicates Jared Leto, who portrayed the clown prince of crime in Suicide Squad, felt upset and alienated by the move when the solo Joker film wasn't out. Does Leto have a legit beef with Warner Brothers after they rebooted the character so soon after his portrayal? What are your guys' thoughts?
All right, Skip, I'm going to let you take this one.
It's interesting. For me, you know me, I'm always kind of reading between the lines, Jared Leto is one of my favorite actors, has been since around the time of Fight Club. I've even gone as far as to listen to his music. So I kind of seen how his persona is across a few different mediums that he participates in. And he's a guy that gets, I mean, with the performances that we get from him, from all the different movies that we love him in, is because he invests himself that much into it. I will say that I do feel like WB abused that a little bit with his fervor and knowing, you know, that they got a really good actor and then they pretty much didn't give him very much to do at all. He wasn't much of a centerpiece in Suicide Squad. He didn't have much screen time there. And the new Harley Quinn movie, it only made sense to make him a villain if we're trying to show her breaking away. They're not doing that. So I don't know how else Jared Leto is supposed to feel other than, and then they're not telling him anything. And they're like, oh, by the way, there's a Joker movie that's in development right now. Oh, great. So when does it start? When do I need to show up? Well, that's the thing, you won't. I don't know how the guy's supposed to feel. I'd be very frustrated. And I'll be honest, I'm a pretty professional guy who keeps things close to the vest. I'd probably be letting off a little bit of steam too, because that's kind of ridiculous. You don't get such a great talent like Jared Leto, give him almost nothing to do besides be a version of the Joker that not many people, welcomed, and then do a whole nother movie that highlights a Joker and he has nothing to do with it. I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy. Wes, tell me, am I crazy for thinking this way? What are your thoughts on this?
I don't know. I think you're close to it, man. I would be mad if I was him just because of the amount of Joker footage they filmed for Suicide Squad, and they cut it all. He was absolutely one of the 2 or 3 best things about that movie. His portrayal of the Joker was amazing. He was full of energy. He was scary as hell. He had a very unique look from the other Jokers, and he should have been the centerpiece of Suicide Squad. He should have been the big bad. I can't believe that Warner Brothers and David Goyer dropped the ball on that movie so hard. You had a great actor who was taking the Joker in a way. After Heath Ledger's amazing performance, it was going to be hard to take that character and do something new with it, be the person to follow them. He did it. He did it well. He gave them everything. He gave them a great performance, and they just chopped it up for no reason so they could make a big music video with some oh my goodness. So he definitely has a legitimate beef, and he should probably be happy that the DCU just dropped the ball on all of this and he doesn't have to be associated with it anymore. How many people associated with the DCEU are really happy? Ben Affleck's gone. Henry Cavill's gone. Jared Leto's gone. How many great actors can they lose from one franchise? No one's ever left the MCU except for, what's his name? War Machine.
Oh, yeah. Dang it, from Empire. Yeah. Terrence Howard.
My bad.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, they have literally abused their talent pool from actors on up to directors. Let's not forget, I think last time I checked, it was at least 3, if not 4, different director changes for what would have been the Flash movie. And it took them so long to even get that under wraps that the contract for Ezra Miller lapsed. Now he's not even a part of it anymore.
That's actually a good thing. He was probably the worst thing about Justice League, to be completely honest. That wasn't Barry Allen. That was this Fairy Allen. I don't even know what it was.
Don't get me wrong. I agree. That was not Barry Allen. That they tried to make that Wally West, and that didn't even work. But I'm just saying, like, as a producer, as someone executive running the studio, it looks bad when you let contracts lapse. It looks bad when you keep losing directors over and over again. For anybody who's seen the movie Dope, that was a movie I thought I'd never want to see. I watched it and it was amazing. They had that director and they couldn't even work out something with him. So for me, it's just a lot of mismanagement of talent across the board. And it's really no surprise. And from the sounds of it, I fully expect them to not do anything with Jared Leto anymore.
Oh, no, he's done. If he was going to come back, it would have been for the next Suicide Squad. And you know what the worst part on all of this? Everyone's like, oh, the MCU, it's groundbreaking. I can't believe they did a connected universe. Warner Brothers had an opportunity to make a Batman versus Superman with Christian Bale's Batman. And I think it was going to be Nick Cage's Superman, possibly. Years before the MCU ever got started, they dropped the ball because they couldn't pull the trigger. And it's the same studio. They keep dropping the ball, keep missing out on opportunities. They can't stick with a plan. They just throw whatever they want at the wall and they hope something sticks. And Thankfully, Jared Leto's out of it. I would be upset if I was him too, but it's probably the best thing that ever happened to him.
I agree. It's crazy when your best string of movies are Nolan, and then when you look after that, what's the next best string of movies outside of the ones that they just weave together, and those are disjointed. The next one are the Batman movies from '89 up into Batman and Robin, the Schumacher. Like, I don't know, it's crazy, but that's WB for you.
All right, Comic Wiz, what's the next topic?
Well, before we get into the next topic, it was actually Brendan Routh who was portraying Superman at the time before Henry Cavill came into the picture.
Yeah, good point.
Thank you very much.
And that's why you are folks. The Comic Wiz.
Anyway, so now we got that out of the way. Well, the next topic is on Guardians of the Galaxy. During New York City Comic Con, Marvel Comics announced Guardians of the Galaxy is rebooting with Immortal Hulk writer Al Ewing leading the series. Guardians of the Galaxy is a high-octane spy-fi action-adventure set against an evolving backdrop of interstellar politics, intrigue, and suspense, Ewing said in a statement. War is coming, and if the Guardians can't stop it, they're going to be right in the middle. Are any of you guys excited for the new direction for Guardians of the Galaxy?
Wes, can I jump in on this one?
Absolutely.
Okay, the reason that I ask is I know you are going to go to town, so I just want to go down the street real quick to the corner. For me, I actually am excited. I have never been much of a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan as far as the comics are concerned. And it might have been because the run that I started with was the Brian Michael Bendis run. And I tried to get into the Donny Cates run, and it was much better. But I see Wes, that's why I go at first. And it was definitely much better, but I think I had just been soured at that point. But I'll tell you what, I have been preaching Al Ewing to people since I read his Ultimates and Ultimates 2 run. It was fantastic. The cosmic part of Marvel is my very favorite part. I love everything that Jim Starlin did back in the day. He's my favorite writer in comics all time. So to see Al Ewing coming back to something cosmic, because they had him on a Deadpool You Pick Your Adventure book, which he wrote well, but I was like, this is not the Al Ewing I like. And I grabbed multiple issues of the Immortal Hulk, and it's good, but it just isn't a comic for me. But boy, oh boy, throughout that whole time did I return to that Ultimates and that Ultimates 2 over and over and over again. And shout out to Kenneth Rocaford for doing some super dope art on that. And he's a NorCal artist, so I got to shout him out. But I am very, very excited. I enjoy the Guardians of the Galaxy characters. Obviously, I enjoy them from the movies. I've been waiting to connect with the comics. I want to like them. I never connect with anything that Donny Cates does, even his indie stuff, even though I recognize the quality. But this, I feel like I'll be able to dive into, and stick with. So I'm excited. But I'm walking back from the corner now. I'm going back into my little humble abode. Wes, can you please drive us to town?
I'm a little less excited. I think Donny Cates' run on Guardians of the Galaxy has been phenomenal. He's worked up the current story arc, which is going to be the culmination of his Marvel Cosmic Universe work. It's ending at issue 12. Why are they rebooting it? The comic is still selling. The storyline is great. Why not just let the new writer take over from starting on issue 13? Why does it always have to reboot to a new number one? I hate it. The constant reboots just suck. And it's just to drive new number one issues. I don't like that. Al Ewing has done a phenomenal job on Immortal Hulk. It is the second best horror comic on the market, right after Vault Comics, These Savage Shores. And if you aren't reading These Savage Shores, go check it out. It's amazing. But he has done a great job there. Al Ewing was one of those under-the-radar writers that was really solid. But I'll tell you this. I read his New Avengers, and it's one of the worst team books I've ever read in my life. It makes me think that maybe he doesn't got what it takes to write a team book. It makes me a little bit worried after all the great work that Donnie's put in rebuilding up the Guardians of the Galaxy. The last really good run was Dan Abnett, so it's been quite a few years. So I hope he doesn't crap the bed. He's a hot ride right now. He's doing some great things, but there's a little piece of my mind that says he wrote New Avengers, and that sucked. So
yeah,
we shall see. I will definitely check it out, but I'm not as
Al Ewing definitely has his misses. There's no mistaking that. And honestly, I don't want to take it away from him. Like if you write something bad, you write something bad. I do kind of honestly blame it more on the GMs, if you will, because like you said when you were saying, why do they have to reboot it? I was thinking in my head, Wes, three letters. LOD, the Legion of Doofuses. The wrong LOD. We want the Legion of Doom, not the Legion of Doofuses. That's more wrestling. But anyway, man, like that's what it is. I think if you have a hot writer who's a talent, and that was the whole thing about how can I forget her name? The lady that ran Vertigo.
Karen Berger.
That was her thing. Like, yeah, it was Lynn Wein who was finding, the guys for the whole British invasion thing, but once she had them, she was putting them in positions where they could shine. And obviously with a little bit of help from Lynn Wein, but it was her driving it. And I feel like it's the same thing. They take their hot writers, and sometimes instead of saying that's the best book for you, they say that's a book that we need a quality writer on. It may not be the best for you, but it's the best that I have right now. And they just put them on there. So I highly advise anybody who hasn't, I will do it again. Wes, if you haven't, Dion, if you haven't, read The Ultimates, Al Ewing run. Obviously it's a team book. America Chavez, Captain Marvel, and I'm starting with those two. I started with the controversial ones because he makes them dope. T'Challa, Blue Marvel, Spectrum, and I feel like I'm missing one other person, but that just alone, them up in space, like it's an amazing book. The team chemistry and the dynamics are great, but like I said, the Legion of Doofuses ain't going to put him in a position to win. So we'll just have to see. And if it sucks, I'm going to say it sucks. But if it's cool, I'm going to say it's pretty awesome.
If it sucks, you'll hear it here first. I guarantee it. All right, Comic Wiz, what's the next topic?
All right. So recently, Marvel released a teaser for the X-Force number one book by writer Ben Percy and Joshua Cassara with him as the artist. The image reveals an unknown character running from Black Tom Cassie while Sage, Jean Grey, and Wolverine spring into action with the words "Security Alert" learned at the top. Though, does this teaser get you pumped up for the upcoming X-Force series?
You know what? It does get me pumped up. I thought that the X-Force were going to be like a Black Ops team that was going out, kind of doing covert missions. I didn't really think that they were going to be responsible for the security on the island, but once I saw Black Tom Cassidy, it should have made sense. That's basically his job in the whole scheme of things on Krakoa. So I think it's really cool. I want to know who this is. Is this a mutant or is this a human? Are the humans already trying to get in there? Did the Avengers send them? Skip. Who's trying to infiltrate Krakoa?
That's a really good question. I'm trying to think who would be either brave enough or dumb enough to try to infiltrate Krakoa when they have all these people, all these powerful people united. It's really hard for me to say, but I do like the spin because same thing. I was kind of going down the road of like mutant Black Ops team, but then the second that you mentioned that they are protecting the island, I was like, well, yeah, I guess the Marauders would be the Black Ops team this time around, being that they're going out and they're literally, going to the countries where for political reasons or whatever, they were not down with recognizing Krakoa's sovereignty. So they're the Black Ops team, so to speak. So them being the, security of the island, I really like the concept, but I really, really, really can't think of who would be dumb enough to try to get in. I guess if I guessed anybody, now that I'm thinking of it, wouldn't it be the lady who was the Omega level mutant? I mean, not the Omega Sentinel. What's her name again? Karima?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Karima, Omega Sentinel.
Yeah. Only one I can think of.
Maybe her and Dr. Gregor. So I think it's interesting. We now know likely that humans can get on the island somehow. I want to know what this little loophole is because Krakoa, Cypher, everyone put in hard security to make sure humans couldn't get on there without mutant approval. And now it looks like you can get on there. Maybe there's a little way to get in there and get to the mutants on Krakoa. I think it's exciting. I do think there's still going to be a Black Ops team, but I do think it's interesting that they're going to be concentrating a little bit on Krakoa and maybe some of the fail safes that aren't working there. All right, Comic Quiz, back to you.
And also, I mean, not only they're turning experts from a Black Ops team into like a CIA branch of COA gathering information, which is really interesting, and it also makes you guess like who this character is. It could be a Mega Sentinel, who knows? Who knows? But it will be like a series that is worth looking into after everything like so C's and Chekhov's guns have been established from House of X and Powers of 10.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we move on to Snyder's new independent series. So he's Undiscovered Country by Image Comics. Now, for that title alone, it gives people like different impressions and interpretations, and which is understandable. So, but if they look into it, it's not what they initially thought. So what are your I mean, what were your initial thoughts with Undiscovered Country, and do you think they are playing into it being the next breakout series too much, or will it have some validity as the years go by?
I think it's going to be a big hit. Image Comics really needs a big hit right now. They just lost The Walking Dead. Saga's still been on hiatus. It's been on hiatus for over a year. Spawn is selling really huge right now, but the milestone's about to be achieved, and it's going to come down a bit. So they need that next big hit. I kind of thought it was going to be Die, but it doesn't appear that that's going to be it. But Charles Soule, Scott Snyder-led independent comic Undiscovered Country has a lot of promise. I think a lot of people misconstrued the cover and the premise of it. Because of the timing, it seemed like maybe it was analogous to Border Walls and maybe something to do with Trump. I don't think that's what it is. It feels like it's much more of a sci-fi type thing, pandemic kind of story, and I think it's going to be really good. I'm super duper excited. Skip, I know you're a huge indie comic fan. Are you going to be checking out Undiscovered Country?
I am. I have been looking for a book. Scott Snyder is such a sweetheart of a guy. I've been looking for ways to try to support him outside of just watching his really cool, heartwarming videos on YouTube. His writing just like, I like high concepts. I'm a big Jonathan Hickman fan. His stuff just kind of goes over my head and kind of never comes back down to like pat me on the head to check and see if I'm getting it. So I've been really, really looking for a book where I can dig in and something that's kind of a little bit away from, I mean, it's still sci-fi, but it's away from comic heroes and so to speak, and more about, maybe more of a lived-in world. I think I might be able to catch his drift. Charles Soule, or however you pronounce his name, I'm not the biggest fan of his, but I definitely recognize the quality of writer that he is, and I really appreciate people that are professionals through and through. And he is definitely a professional, from how he interacts with people to the way he goes about, his business as a writer. So these two together, I think maybe Soule can tame Snyder's, wanting to reach for the ether a little bit and kind of maybe be that seal that gets it to where I want to go. But it's an Image book. I'll definitely be picking up number 1. Wes and I will be reading it and talking to each other about it. And depending on how that goes, we may be even talking to y'all about it. So we'll see, but I will say I'm excited. My only thing is, and you made the point of them needing another big book. I don't want to snuff it out too early because who knows what it can be. But like, you tell me the concept of Saga, I can say, oh yeah, that makes sense. You tell me even just the concept of Die, I can say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. The concept of The Walking Dead, that one probably surprised everybody more than anything. I'm surprised that a zombie book got that big, but I understand why. This one, the concept alone is interesting to me, but it doesn't seem like one that is just going to burst out and sell a bunch of books. So I want to see the drop off between number 1 and number 3.
Oh yeah, there's definitely going to be a drop off, and we don't even know what the book really is yet. We've only seen a few pictures. We do know it has top quality writers on it and a pretty good artist, but we shall see. And we might even have a little episode of Outside the Bleed on it, depending on how good the issue is. All right, Comic Wiz, what's the next topic?
Let's see. What is? Oh, yeah, it's on still. Next is Star Wars. Oh, well, I mean, and Star Wars has been like the big talk nowadays, considering it's the current direction it's in. Now, Rian Johnson reveals he had many discussions with J.J. Abrams about Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and this is from comicbook.com. So during a conversation at the BFI London Film Festival, Star Wars: The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson told an audience that he was not going off the reservation when he made decisions about the story of his film, and that he was in constant contact with J.J. Abrams and Lucasfilm about the events of the movie and how they would play into the larger story that will end later this year in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, the final installment in the Skywalker saga, and the 9th episode of the decades-long Star Wars story arc. And according to the filmmaker J.J. Abrams, who directed the movie before and after Johnson's installment, those plans have remained largely the same since he and Lucasfilm first created an arc for the end of the Skywalker saga. It shouldn't then be much of a surprise that Johnson was in constant contact with the Brain Trust. So from that's the bit alone. What are your initial thoughts on it, or do you want me to read more into this article?
No, Skip. Are you excited for the Rise of Skywalker, knowing that J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson were talking the whole time?
Hell no. Let me tell you why. You know what? This is what happened. J.J. Abrams made The Force Awakens and was walking that way. Rian Johnson was coming in, doing The Last Jedi, putting things together, talking to J.J. Abrams while J.J. Abrams is walking that way. And J.J. Abrams is like, oh, you want to do that? Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, you want to do that? Oh, yeah, sure. Thinking in his mind, I ain't got to come back and deal with this. You can do whatever the hell you want, Rian Johnson. And then Rian Johnson's like, all right, thanks. And then Rian Johnson starts walking that way. J.J. Abrams said, okay, I'm sure everything that Rian Johnson said, J.J. Abrams probably was like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Because he didn't think he had to deal with it. Everybody remember, it was Colin Trevorrow that was set up to be the director for the third movie, which was unnamed yet, and I'm willing to bet it wasn't called The Rise of Skywalker, although I do believe it was supposed to highlight Luke Skywalker. Rian Johnson killed off Luke Skywalker, and like I said before, I'm sure Colin Trevorrow went up to Kathy Kennedy like, what the hell did you just do? Do you not know I was talking to Mark Hamill? Do you not know I had this set up for Luke Skywalker? And she was probably like, well, too bad now. And he was like, no, too bad for you, I'm out. Bam, there he goes. And now they calling around Tinseltown. Are you free? You want to come direct a Star Wars movie? And everybody's like, do you see what's going on with the community right now? No, I don't want to direct a Star Wars movie. Like, yes, but right now, no. And they had to get J.J. Abrams to come back. And now J.J. Abrams, everything that he said yes to, now he's sitting up there like, no, what have I done? What have I done? So it's so funny that Rian Johnson says this. To me, everything that Rian Johnson says going forward is just to save face. Again, I'm a fan of his art outside of the Star Wars universe, all the stuff with Breaking Bad and Brick and Looper. I'm a fan of the way that he's treated the fans, the way that he's treated the characters, and the way that I'm going to go ahead and say, treated Star Wars as a whole. I am not a fan of. So this is just him trying to save face more, and ain't no more face to save, Rian. Deuces.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Tell me.
Who he's really screwing over is J.J. Abrams. Listen, Star Wars has a fan perception problem, and that problem starts front and center with The Force Awakens and Rian Johnson. He shouldn't be telling anybody there's any association between the two. He should just let everyone assume that J.J. Abrams scrapped everything and just started on his own. Him saying that they've been in contact the whole time, that the movies are going to connect just beautifully, it's going to make people that were already apprehensive just be like, well, I didn't want to go to begin with, but now I know I don't want to go because The Force Awakens sucked. I didn't like anything about it, and I certainly don't want to watch a direct sequel to that crap. So I think Rian Johnson trying to save face and show that he's still part of the Star Wars team is basically just screwing everyone over even more, probably cost him a few more $1 million. I think the Rise of Skywalker will still make money. It will still fall very short of the Force Awakens, and I don't know why he's doing it. He's screwing everybody over. Nobody more so than J.J. Abrams. All right, everybody, that should do it for today's Geek-Span. Comic Wiz, did we mess anything else up?
No,
All
you
right.
guys did well. Although
Awesome.
with Rise of Skywalker, Rise of Skywalker, it has a very huge mountain to climb on, and all we can do now is just wait and see on how this is going to turn out. Yes, it will make money, but the quality of it and how it's going to like get back into the fans' good graces, your mileage may vary.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I want to say thank you very much to Comic Wiz, the third member of the team. Great start for the show, and welcome to the team. We had a great show today. Thank you very much to Skip and Tosh. Thank you, everyone that was here live. So I wasn't able to answer your comments or questions, but we were kind of doing this show live. And I think that's going to be it, fellas. Salamat po. Uh-oh. There it is. And I'm out.